Yo, what's up? We're back with Kaiju number 8, the game, and the new content is finally out, Large Conquest. But before that, let's check if they release a new banner. Okay, it's the same banner. Thank God. Alright, let's go ahead and dive straight into the new content. Large Conquest is a limited time battle mode where you will form 2 squads to fight against continuously appearing kaijus. I kinda guessed it a bit right. In Large Conquest, special stage effects will be active, giving you an advantage in neutralizing kaiju. Utilize these stage effects to efficiently increase your neutralization count. We'll take a look at the buffs later on. To achieve victory, you must either survive for a set number of rounds or defeat a specific number of kaiju. Additionally, defeating a Honju counts as 3 neutralizations toward your total count. Earn rewards by completing objectives and clear quests. These rewards include dimensional crystals and exclusive items exchangeable at the shop. So for this season's stage effect, it's going to be each time a kaiju is defeated, all allies outgauge plus 20, applies crit rate plus 20% one turn to the unit based on the number of kaiju attacked simultaneously, maximum 5 stacks. At the start of battle, fully recovers SP. Okay, so we'll take a look at how many kaijus there are in the battle. If it's 3, then you're going to be bringing mostly adjacent type units, but I'm going to be using the Hoshina obviously. I'm just going to try to bring a bunch of AoE units, and it seems like the enemies only have the normal plating. Okay, the first few stages should be pretty easy, and there's going to be 5 enemies actually. So I think Riin might be very good here because she is fully AoE, but her damage might not be enough to one-shot the ads within one turn. So they keep spawning. Okay, you want to bring a full team of AoE, I would have to guess. I'm not sure what a Honju is, but it's probably okay. We got the ultimate very quick because every single time the kaiju dies, you instantly get like 20 plus 20 outgauge. So if you were to bring like a bunch of AoE units, then every single time you kill a unit with your AoE, maybe like 3 units, then you're gonna get 60 outgauge. So I think units like Reno is gonna be perfect for this. Units like Riin, like I said just now, is going to be very good. Jen is going to be very good because he is also AoE on his ultimate. I think Sagan is going to be insane as well because she has AoE ultimate. Although the enemies are pretty slow, so you don't really, get attacked by the enemies. And I'm not sure what is going on here. It doesn't say how many you need to kill, but there's a meter right here. I've already neutralized 12, and the bar is at about a quarter way through. The first few stages I'm just going to auto it. You get your ultimate very fast because, like I said, every single time you kill a kaiju, you get like 20 outgauge. And the new Hoshina is still going to be good, number 10 Hoshina, because he doesn't get the resonance buff if there is more than 3 or more enemies in the battlefield. And since the enemy has 5 at all times, and when they die they just respawn, that way your number 10 Hoshina will never get the resonance buff, which means his combat skill will always be a AoE, or not really an AoE, it's a adjacent AoE, right? So you're always gonna kill like 3 enemies whenever you do his combat skill, if you have him built enough. So after this, I'm gonna try to log into my main account and see if Riin is gonna be very good or not, because I do have Riin at level 90, and also my main account has Sagan as well. So I think that comp is gonna be very, very good. Although I'm not sure why there's gonna be team 2. Maybe once you reach the goal, you will move on to team 2. I'm not too sure. You probably don't even need to run a support in this game mode. Let me think, who else is an AoE unit? So we have Jen, we have Reno with his ultimate, we have the old 5-star Hoshina. He also has an AoE, but in this account I don't have him built. In my main account I do have him at like level 90. So we'll go ahead and try on my main account after this. It does take a while though. This is the first stage. I mean, the enemies are not moving a single time. They are very slow and they get one-shotted from like literally anything. But they're level 40, so I think later on it's gonna be pretty difficult. So this is finally a content that Riin is going to be good in because she's pure AoE, right? She has AoE ultimate, she has AoE combat skill, she has AoE follow-up as well. Alright, so my second team, we have the new Kikoru. I don't have too many AoE DPS in this team. I only have Kikoru and Reno's ultimate. Okay, so I think in order to move to floor 2, you need to at least get 2 stars. And if you want to get 3 stars, you're gonna need to get a little bit more, right? I'm not sure why there's gonna be one last goal right here. Maybe you get extra rewards if you do clear it all the way to the end, or maybe the run just ends. Yeah, I think the final goal right here, the final flag post, is just to be there after you've defeated a certain number of kaiju. If you can clear it really fast before the round ends. The new Kikoro is also adjacent AoE, so she's not killing the enemies fast enough. Most of the units in this game are adjacent AoE. We don't really have that many pure AoE units. Again, after this, I'll go to my main account and we'll try out the old Hoshina and also Riin. I think Riin is gonna go crazier here. It does take a while though. This is the first stage and it's already taking 10 minutes plus. Now, there's probably gonna be other 4 stars that is also AoE. So they could also be good, but I'm not sure if there's gonna be a pure 4-star that is AoE. I know the 4-star Reno is an adjacent AoE unit, but outside of him, I'm not too sure anyone else is pure AoE. Okay, so it seems like we're gonna get all the way to the end. I think once we get to the end, the fight just ends because we've killed enough kaiju. Isao doesn't make sense in this team because you don't really take that much damage, so you don't really need to run him. Alright, 80 is gonna be the maximum for the first round. Alright, so there's gonna be 6 stages. One of the stage took me roughly 10 minutes. We're definitely not gonna be clearing all of this in one video, but looking at the rewards, we're looking at 60, 60, all the way to 14 stars. That's roughly 600, 840, if I'm not mistaken. 840 right here. And then 80 times 4, that's 40. So 1,240. I think that's the math. Clear rewards, it's gonna give you the Proof of Valor, which you can get for weapons. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and log into my main account. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and try Riin and the old 5-star Hoshina. I have some pretty decent unit parts on her. Attack, crit rate, and shot damage. Her weapon is at level 70. She is at level 90. And my old 5-star Hoshina is at level 90 using the SW2033. His unit part is the lizard type, attack, crit rate, and speed. Alright, let's go in. This is the first stage again. I'm also gonna use Sagan because she has an AoE ultimate. But maybe she's not gonna be that good. She is pure AoE, but the fact that her combat skill doesn't do anything and her normal attack is a single target, she's probably not gonna be the best. I don't know who else is pure AoE. I think Riin, like I said. Okay. She gets her ultimate in 1 turn. Okay, that's pretty cool. This should also give my entire team ultimate, I think, because yeah. Riin is insane. Okay. Alright, I think I might level 100 Riin just because of this. Because I think floor 6 is going to be very difficult. With the level 100 Riin, I think with a combat skill and an ultimate, you should be able to clear the waves. And then once you clear the waves, there's going to be 5 enemies, which means you're going to get 20 times 5 ult gauge. So, what is that? 100 ult gauge for your entire team. That is pretty insane. Look at this. She's just cycling her ultimate like crazy. Wow, okay. Riin is is pretty insane. I think I should also run Reno, but I remove Reno from both of my teams because Reno is a single target combat skill. I'm running 2 supports in the team so that I can do more damage with my Riin, just to make sure that she one-shots. And also when it comes to Reno, the debuff that he applies will go away whenever you kill an enemy, right? So if the enemy dies and respawn, you don't have the ice crystal debuff on them anymore. He could be useful if the enemies spawn in with the ice crystal. That way your Riin is going to do a lot more AoE damage. I'm also running her with Gen because I thought the enemies are going to be a little bit more tanky. So if I were to run her with Gen, actually this doesn't make sense, because if I wanted to run her with Gen, I should have run her with Gen as battle buddy, because I thought if I were to run her with Gen can help break the plating, and then she can do a follow-up AoE attack, right? But right now I'm not running her with Gen as battle buddy. They're in the same team, but they're not as battle buddy. Alright, now the old 5-star Hoshina. His AoE doesn't do that much damage, so we don't one-shot right there. Okay, so the second wave we only have 3 enemies. I didn't realize this. So the first team you should run a full AoE unit, and then for the second team you should run adjacent DPS. So I should move up my old 5-star Hushina to the first team, and then I should put my Gen to the second team alongside with my Kikoru, because they're both adjacent type units, right? I'm also running Rio because he's gonna get the ultimate very fast here. Every single time you kill, you get 20 ult gauge. So this sort of alleviates the fact that he gets his ult very slowly. And also I think it's better to move my Sagan up as well, because of the pure AoE that she has on the ultimate. Alright, that's good to know then. We'll go ahead and move on to the second wave. I'm just gonna skip it. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to stage 2. Now that we know the first stage has 5 enemies while the second one has 3, we're gonna be moving up the pure AoE units to the first team. I guess we can go ahead and do this. No supports needed. We can just run this team. And also, this time around there's gonna be a slash plating, but I don't think it matters. Yeah, I think this is fine. Or maybe we can remove Rio and put in this guy. So now my first team has pure AoE. If my ults can one-shot, then we should be able to cycle the ults like crazy. Let's see. Okay, that does kill. I think that... No, it doesn't kill. Okay, that did kill. Yeah, this combat skill is gonna be useless though. Riin putting in work. That should give her the ultimate because of the follow-up right here. And that also kills. Alright, there we go. Riin with the ultimate. This should probably one-shot everyone. And then she's gonna funnel everything to the rest of the allies. Okay, I just noticed now there's only 4 enemies. So I don't get ults as fast. But it's still pretty fast though, look at this. My Sagan usually doesn't get the ultimate after moving 3 times. Now she gets the ult really quickly. So there's finally a content that requires you to run a full AoE unit. Before this content, Riin and also the old 5-star Hoshina didn't really have that much of a use because they are inferior to adjacent type of AoE units. Now the pure AoE aspect that they have is actually very good. Alright, team 2, let's see if there's still 3 enemies. It should be, right? Yeah, it should be 3 enemies still. So my Kikoru is about to pop off right here. And the reason why I'm running Reno now is because he has adjacent AoE for his ultimate. And I don't really have any other adjacent units. Alright, so if you kill a Honju, which is going to be the big guy, it counts as 3 Kaijus. And they don't spawn like every round. They only spawn like every maybe 10 rounds. So the next Honju that's going to spawn right now is going to be when I cleared 60 Kaiju. I'm taking a bit of damage though. I think this content you might need to run the healer for the AoE heal, or you might want to run Isao as well, because my unit is getting pretty low. My Reno is about to die. Alright, last Kaiju, and we should be able to clear this one. You only need to clear it within 3 stars, and I think this last goal right here is for you to survive all the way to the end, because look at this. My units are taking a bunch of damage. So if you cannot clear all the way to the end, you want a unit that can survive all the way to the end. So maybe running a very tanky tank in one of the slot could be a good strategy, just to make sure that you don't get wiped out, right? Alright, stage 3, I think this is going to be the last one for the video. I think this time I'm going to be running Isao for the shield, just to make sure that my units don't die. And for the first team, I think I should be fine because I have Sagan to taunt the enemies. Let me see if there's any other AoE units. Okay, this guy is AoE, if I'm not mistaken, the ultimate. Yeah, his ultimate is AoE, so you could use him. This guy is AoE when he transforms, but his damage is very low. And the 4-star Reno is going to be adjacent AoE with his combat skill, but his single target on the ultimate. Alright, let's go in. This is going to be the last stage that I'm going to do for this video, because it is taking a while. It's already taking 30 minutes plus just to clear the first 3 stages. Actually, I'm going to go back out. I'm going to change the arrangement a little bit. If you are using Jen and Riin in the same team, make sure you pair them up together as battle buddy, because Jen can break the plates very easily, and when he does break the plates, your Riin is going to follow up with an AoE attack, right? Okay, this time around there's going to be 5 enemies in the battlefield, so the AoE units are eating good right now. Look at this, Riin is just going crazy right now, her ult, and she gets stronger as well whenever she breaks the plate. And I think when she kills a Kaiju as well, she gains like 20% attack or something like that, something similar. Or maybe it's like 4% damage dealt. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. When you break the plate with your Gen, your Riin is going to do a follow-up AoE attack. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you know any other AoE unit, especially their ultimate. Because in this content, you want to cycle your ultimate as much as possible, right? So having an AoE ultimate, a pure AoE ultimate is going to be very good for this content. For adjacent AoE unit, you want to run them in the second team, because so far in the second team there's going to be only 3 enemies, because the second team is going to fight the Honju Kaijus, right? The bigger Kaijus. This one is just ads. For this content, you're going to need to build a lot of units, especially the ones that you don't use, because these AoE units don't really have that much use outside of this content. I think this is also part of the reason why they did the growth campaign thingy, because you need to build a lot of units, right? Tomorrow, I think we're going to get the stamina and dimensional crystals growth event. I'm not sure what it's going to do. Maybe you can farm out dimensional crystal with your stamina or something. I don't know. But then 5 days later, or on the 15th of October, we're going to get the XP growth campaign. So again, make sure to save up all of your stamina for that. You don't have to clear this content as fast as possible. I think it's around for the whole month of October. So just wait, don't build these units just yet, because you're going to be wasting a lot of resources, especially if you haven't farmed up the resources, right? Because you could just wait for a few more days for when they do implement the growth campaign, then you can start building these units. So far, the first team has no problem at all. My Esau is taking a bit of damage though. Maybe I'm gonna have some trouble for my second team. I think one of the mission is for you to not have any incapacitated unit, just like Fierce Battle. So I think finally you're gonna need to run the healer in this battle right here, because she does have an AoE heal. So the best team comp is probably gonna run the healer, especially for team 2, right? The healer, 1 support and 2 DPS. So if you do have numbers 10 Hoshina, I think the best team for him is going to be in team 2. Although I'm not too sure, when you ult and you kill a unit, that means that there's going to be only 2 enemies in the battlefield, right? So does he get the resonance buff then? Because if he does, then it's not going to be a good idea for you to run him in the second team, because you don't want him to get the resonance buff at all. You want him to stay as AoE unit, right? And also for the new Kikuru, numbers 2 Kikuru, for this particular content, it's probably better for you to run her as a DPS Kikuru. Mine is on the Wyvern type. I think it still works, but she's probably not going to be the best on the Wyvern type, especially for this content. Alright, stage 3, they're actually getting pretty tanky. They're not getting one-shotted by my Renos ultimate, at least the 2 ads. The main target is still getting one-shotted. So I think, ooh, he's doing 200 damage on my Esau. And also when it comes to the AI, I'm not sure why it keeps holding the Chester's ultimate when you should just use it every single time you get it, because of the action order up, right? But yeah, as you can see right here, the old Kikuru is going to be very good, especially for team 2, because her combat skill is a adjacent type of AoE, and if you have her built up, her combat skill can one-shot all 3 enemies. Yeah, I can already see surviving for the later stages is going to be very hard. You definitely want to run a support, defender support, like Esau or the healer, on like stage 6 maybe. I think you probably already need to run them at stage 5 or maybe even stage 4, because stage 3 I'm already taking a lot of damage. They're hitting me for like 200 damage on my level 90 Esau. Alright, that's stage 3. We're gonna stop here for the day. And as for the objectives, it is just clear a number of kaiju. So even if you die, it's still gonna be fine. So maybe going full DPS is still gonna be the way to go, because you don't really have to care about your units dying, right? As long as you can clear a specific number of kaiju. So floor 4, they're already at level 85. That's gonna be very scary. I think at floor 6, they're probably gonna be at level 100 or at least 95. So yeah, this content is pretty nice, but like I said, you don't have to build this unit right now. You should just wait for the growth campaign to come out, because this content lasts for an entire month. If you start building them right now and you haven't farmed up the resources, you're gonna waste a lot of resources, especially on the EXP right here. And the growth campaign for the EXP comes in 5 days, right? Or 6 days. So wait for the growth campaign before you start building these units. So yeah, that's about it. Ciao.